Hello all, this is Ashish from Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham Amritapuri campus, and today I would be presenting my work on design and development of hybrid VTOL UAVs that can be used for post-disaster relief operations, specifically focusing on delivering emergency medical supplies to the affected persons. Here in Amrita, we are a team of researchers working on designing solutions for post-disaster relief operations. The major motivation behind this initiative was the 2018 floods that affected various parts of Kerala. Since our campus is in Kerala, this also affected us in a very big way. So that is when we decided to come up with a solution that can be readily be deployed after a disaster, and also which can mitigate the effects of disaster to a very great extent. And if you see the recorded histories of disasters, if you see the statistics, every year the frequencies of disasters are also increasing, and which in turn increases the amount of losses in terms of wealth, lives, and infrastructure. So every year different types of disasters are occurring, and the amount of losses is also increasing in a tremendous way. And also the first 72 hours is the most important time after a disaster, where the maximum amount of relief work has to be done so as to minimize the number of casualties. And also, while looking into the previous methods of aerial relief operations, specifically on payload delivery mechanisms, they were very less accurate in terms of their deliveries, because the most conventional method, reliable method that was used was the parachute drop method, and which only gave you 50% chances of hitting the target. In the recent years, UAVs have been extensively used in disaster-related missions like search and rescue, delivering essentials to the affected persons. Both multi-rotors and fixed wings have been deployed depending on the mission requirements. Like for example, the octocopter developed by Israel called a SPAS was actually used by Coast Guard as a search and rescue drone. And the very famous Zipline fixed wing aircraft was actually used to deliver emergency vaccines to very remote areas in Africa. And also DHL came up with a delivery drone, which was actually an octocopter, which was also used to deliver essentials to the affected person. So throughout the various disasters, the engagement of UAVs has been increasing, and most of the operations right now is being done is purely based on search and rescue operations and supplying emergency essentials on a very small scale. But the issue with using a multi-rotor for such operations is that the endurance level is very low for a multi-rotor compared to a fixed-wing aircraft. And the disadvantage of a fixed wing is that it can't do a precise drop if it's being used for a payload delivery. For reconnaissance, fixed wing is the best suited. It can just do a flyby reconnaissance, but if you want to do a payload delivery, the accuracy decreases a lot because of the flyby drop. So to overcome these disadvantages by multi-rotor as well as a fixed wing, various solutions have been coming up, and different companies have been developing their own solutions, which basically narrows down to the vertical takeoff and landing model. So there have been different types of VTOL vehicles, and one of them is the Verticool, which was actually developed in one of the universities in Europe, which has the capacity to vertically take off and land and also fly like a normal aeroplane. And this specific configuration was known as a tail sitter configuration. So since a VTOL model has the advantages of both fixed wing as well as a multi-rotor, now many of the companies which were actually focusing on either of these types are now actually building vertical takeoff and landing drones for their relief operations. So as mentioned in the previous slide, a VTOL model actually incorporates the advantages of both a multi-rotor and a fixed-wing aircraft, and that is how this idea came to us, to actually have a model which has the advantages of these two models. And that is how we came up with this specific model, which is known as a quad plane, which is actually a fixed wing aircraft and onto which a quadrotor frame is mounted. That is how the name came, quad plane. Now this has the capacity to vertically take off, vertically land, hover at a given location, and it can also do a static payload drop at any given GPS location. The mechanical system design consisted of three important parts. The first one was the fixed wing structure, the second one was the quadrotor frame, and the third one was the payload bay. For the fixed wing structure, here we went for an off-the-shelf model called as SkySurfer V4, which had a wingspan of 1.2 meters and a fuselage length of 0.9 meter. And to increase the strength of this structure, we coated both the wings as well as the fuselage with carbon fiber. For the quadrotor structure, we went for an H frame, where actually the frame is mounted orthogonal to the wings on either sides of the fuselage. And the spacing of the frame is done in such a way that the center of gravity of the fixed wing as well as the quadrotor, they actually coincide. And for the payload bay, we went for two different models. One had a hatch operated using a servo motor, and the other had a sliding tray in it for the payload delivery. So for very fragile and delicate payloads, the sliding payload bay was actually used, and in this case the drone or the aircraft has to land and the tray has to be manually opened and the payload can be taken from there. But for more rigid payloads that can withstand the fall, the servo hatch payload bay was used, in which the aircraft would hover at a given height and the hatch would open and the payload drops at the given location. In order to achieve the basic attitude stabilization, the flight control module used was PixHawk 2.4.8. PixHawk had inbuilt gyros, inbuilt accelerometers, and also an inbuilt PID controller. So the basic attitude stabilization was achieved using a PixHawk flight control module. And in order to get the position control, the PixHawk was actually used with an external GPS module. So this combination gave both position control as well as GPS navigation features to this specific model. Apart from this, the other models used were a radio telemetry unit to send back live aircraft data to the ground control stations, and then also a manual controlled radio transmitter receiver module to take manual control over the model if in case something happens during the auto missions. And also there was a video telemetry unit to send back live video feeds from the craft to the ground control station. And in order for all these systems to work together, the software in the ground control station used was Q Ground Control. Now, looking into the propulsion system of this specific model, this had two different propulsion systems. It was also known as separate lift and thrust system, where the lift was created by one specific propulsion system, which was actually the quadrotor system, and the forward motion was created by a tractor motor, which was actually installed at the nose of the aircraft. After designing and developing the system, the next phase was actually testing the system in a real outdoor environment. So this figure actually shows you the mission planning window of Q Ground Control, where the right side shows the different waypoint features and parameters, and the left side of the image shows you the trajectory followed or being followed by the drone in its auto mission. Now we'll see the step-by-step process happening in a complete mission profile. So the first step is actually vertical takeoff. This is being done in the home location as indicated by the red dot in the image. And after it takes off to the specific height as per the mission plan, the drone goes into a forward transition mode. Now in forward transition, what happens is the tractor motors are engaged and then it goes into a forward flight mode. And as the velocity increases for this particular drone, it gets into its forward cruise mode. Now the specialty of this cruise mode is that in the cruise mode, the velocity is enough for the wings to generate lift that can actually carry the entire weight of the aircraft. So at this velocity, what happens is the quadrotor motors, they switch off and only the tractor is engaged. Now, once it reaches the cruise mode, it again navigates to the next waypoint. Now here, for us, this was the point where the payload drop was actually supposed to happen. And when the drop location is reached, as indicated by the red dot, again, the drone again goes into a transition where the tractor motor is again disengaged, and now the entire craft is hovering using the quadrotor. And then it descends down to the drop height, and now the servos are engaged and the payload is dropped at the given location, as indicated by the yellow dot on the screen. After the payload is dropped, the quad plane again goes back to the original height and completes the mission by undergoing a VTOL transition to forward flight mode. And once reaching the destination, it again disengages the tractor motor and it lands down using its quadrotor frame or the quadrotor mode. So this image here shows you the map or the collected GPS points transmitted by the quad plane while it was performing the mission. And this actually indicates that the mission performed by the quad plane and the mission planned by us in the Q ground control station is almost the same. So it has almost touched all the GPS points on its way as planned. So the accuracy level is very high and very satisfactory, but since we had a very small area for our experiments, the entire distance covered was only 400 meters, but the accuracy level was very high. And also regarding the payload drop, the payload drop done by the quad plane was only offsetted by few meters as planned by the Q ground control. So the accuracy of the drop was also very satisfactory in our case. With the experiments that we have conducted here, we believe that this is the most efficient solution for targeted payload delivery during any disaster, because this gives you the advantage of both multi-rotor as well as a fixed-wing aircraft. So it can vertically take off, vertically land. It doesn't require any runway for its takeoff and landing operations. It can hover at a given location. It can do a static payload drop at a precise GPS location. So in the near future, I believe, or we believe, that such hybrid systems are going to prove the most effective disaster management solutions. But as we all know that because of the lack of regulatory frameworks and the lack of permissions, developing such systems is still a challenge, and to get these systems into real environment is also still a challenge. So I hope, or we hope, that slowly things would change for better and such hybrid systems would come or mature for real practical uses. For us personally, the next aim is actually to enhance the capacity, the payload capacity of the system that we have right now, and also look into or explore into different other propulsion systems that would give us an enhanced endurance and a longer flight trajectory. So thank you once again for giving us this opportunity to present our paper, and hope you all are safe, and pray for your safety also. So thank you very much.